the wide receiver room and the battle with, first of all, Jacob Gill, who's a newcomer. We haven't seen him in a Hawkeye uniform. It sounds like he's really impressed with some flashes.
Right.
Can you talk about what he brings? It sounds like speed is part of that.
Yeah, he's got a natural ability to put his foot in the ground, so that helps him. His approach is what is flashed the most to this point. He comes to work every single day, and he wants to get better. He goes at one speed, and he's setting a tempo that you want the group to reflect. And so that's what I've appreciated the most out of him, and he's continuing to learn the details within the position and where he fits, how to run certain routes. That's all coming along, and he's worked really hard to study it to give himself an opportunity to have success when he is out there. But his approach and attitude when he's on the field has been really impressive.
How do you respond to some of the critics in the offseason that looked at your hire and say, well, here's a guy who doesn't really have wide receiver coach on his resume. He's a former quarterback, but how do you respond to maybe not people who are trying to rip you, but who are skeptical?
Yeah, the biggest thing in coaching is at the end of the day, we're all teachers. And so the best teachers I've been around are the ones that understand the material that they're teaching, and they can build a connection with the students that they're teaching. And for us, it's no different. It's understanding what we're doing, how to do it, and then building a connection with a group of guys that understand how to set a standard, how to hold each other accountable, and then helping them to grow and to improve and get better each day. And so I understand it, but at the same time, there's a very we'd be missing out on a lot of good coaches, right? If they only coach the position that they played.
Yeah.
And I spent so much time in my past as a player, as a coach, working so closely within the position. And then once you get into it, like I said, it's what are you asking them to do? You got to know that inside and out, and then can you get them to that point, right? And you have to be able to deliver a message, and it's all in that delivery about how they understand it.
I think it was at Big Ten Media Days, Coach Ferentz said something about you having some experience coaching receivers, specifically at Colorado State. Right. I know you were coaching quarterbacks, but can you talk about what you did there with the receiver room?
Yeah, we worked really closely together. We'd meet together. We were implementing a new system there at the time in the throw game, and so wanted those meetings to be together so that we could have really clear communication with what we were trying to get done. And during my time at Colorado State, did it when I was quarterback coach at Wisconsin. We'd meet together all the time again, you're trying to get on the same page, because there's no more thing important than a quarterback and receiver being on the same page. And so you're constantly talking about how to attack leverages, where you fit within a progression, and now you expand it into, okay, what are your responsibilities within the run game, and how, when you're able to do that, what does that do to set up the explosive play pass game? So they got a decent amount of experience in those rooms.
I know Jackson Stratton was committed to Washington initially at a high school. Did you recruit him? Was there a period where you ever recruited him at Colorado State? Okay.
Yeah, I was already gone.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know if he had been recruited prior to decommitting. As it relates to the top three, if there was a game tomorrow, who would be your first three guys out in your
room?
Right
now there's a healthy competition, so we're continuing to stress that. I like what Jacob's done. I like where Weegen's been. Like the progress that Bowie's making. Continue to mix guys around, mix and match them. Are you playing the X? Are you playing the Z? And just keep them running in different groups, and so that they continue to progress. But right now we're competing, and we're going to get better each day.
How have you seen Caleb Brown respond to the OWI?
Yeah, good. I like the response that he had. I think he learned from the situation, and right now he's trying to get better each day. He's coming to meetings, going to practice, doing the things we're asking him to do, and his response has been good.
When you look at Terrell Washington, what he can bring, running back, kind of, I know, still spelling time at both positions to some extent. What do you like about him and his experience at a different position?
Yeah, the one thing about TJ is he has got a smile on his face every single day. The way that he comes to meetings, comes out to practice, the attitude that he plays with, he's got an energy to him that's contagious, and that part is really good because it's good for the room. And then from a skill set standpoint, I think he's got a natural ability to put his foot in the ground, and he can his route running is continuing to get better, and I think it's only going to help him no matter where he settles in at, whether it is the receiver position, if he's the running back. Everything that he's learning right now is going to help him tremendously, but he's continued to get more consistent, understanding what to do. and then the how to do it, he's progressing each day. So I'm pleased with him.
How your experience as a quarterback and a quarterback's coach and a coordinator, how does that help with your room and route running?
Yeah.
And we talked about the critics, but what can you say in response that, hey, I'm a former quarterback, I bring this to the table that maybe a wide receivers coach by trade wouldn't have?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is getting guys to understand structure of defense, coverages, progressions, where they fit within the progressions, certain leverages that a defender's playing you, how I want you to attack it so that you can be in the window at the right time when I'm ready to throw it. And that all falls back on timing. Like in the throw game, everything goes off timing, and you got to be at the right depth with the right break point so that when the quarterback goes to let it rip, you're where he thinks you're going to be. And so just all of that, just getting guys to understand, grow their football IQ and understand the full picture, that's been fun. And I think the guys are continuing to progress, and they're starting to feel it too within those things.
What did you think of Todson and going to James Madison and going nuts offensively?
Toddy was awesome. I enjoyed that entire year with him because the one thing that he brought, that obviously he's a very talented player, but I knew going into that year that he was going to have to be extremely tough mentally. There was going to be ups and downs, and he never flinched. And he got beat up, and there were tough games, and he never once tapped out. And that was the thing that I appreciated the most. And he continued to get better each week. And when he went to James Madison, wasn't surprised at all at the success that he had because that's just who he is. And I think he grew as a leader that year when he had to go through some adversity, and that really helped him that year at JMU.
Thanks, Coach.